Number 1. Your body's internal GPS is broken. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly forgotten why you're there? No, it's not just you getting old. This is a real thing called the doorway effect, and it's basically your brain hitting the reset button every time you cross a threshold. You're not just walking from the kitchen to the living room. Your brain thinks you're loading a new level in a video game. As you step through that doorway, your brain creates an event boundary to compartmentalize the previous space and focus on the new one. It's an evolutionary leftover from a time when moving to a new area required a complete mental refresh to process new threats and opportunities. So that feeling of standing in the living room, staring blankly at your couch, isn't a sign of a failing memory. It's your brain doing its job a little too well. It's a feature, not a bug, but a really annoying feature that makes you feel like a goldfish. You walked into the room to grab the TV remote, but the moment you crossed that threshold, your brain decided to wipe the last 3 seconds of your short-term memory clean. Number 2, the phantom phone vibration. You're sitting on the couch, minding your own business, when you feel it. A little buzz, a phantom vibration in your pocket. You instinctively reach for your phone, pull it out, and stare at a blank screen. It's a familiar, slightly embarrassing moment, and it's a glitch so common it even has a name: phantom vibration syndrome. This isn't just a quirky habit, it's a symptom of your brain's hypervigilance. Our brains are constantly looking for patterns, especially for things we rely on, like our smartphones. The vibration is our primary signal for incoming information. Over time, your brain gets so keyed in on that specific sensory input that it starts to misinterpret other feelings. A muscle twitch, the friction of your jeans against your leg, or even a sudden draft can be misconstrued as the phone buzzing. It's like your nervous system has a loose wire that occasionally sends a false signal. Your brain, desperate for a little dopamine hit, fills in the blanks, creating a feeling where there isn't one. All because you're a little too obsessed with your digital life. Number 3, your brain's fake alarm system. Imagine standing on a tall balcony, and for a split second, your brain whispers a single, insane command: jump. Or maybe you're driving on a bridge and a voice in your head tells you to swerve into the guardrail. You immediately feel a jolt of fear and revulsion, but the thought wasn't suicidal. It was a bizarre, unsolicited impulse. This is called the call of the void, or l'appel du vide. It's not a death wish. It's your brain's weird way of confirming you value your life. The moment that bizarre thought pops into your head, the instant panic and revulsion you feel is your brain's frantic confirmation that you're committed to living. It's an involuntary, terrifying safety test. Psychologists believe it's a cognitive glitch, where your brain is processing a risky scenario so intensely that it mistakes its own simulation for an actual command. It's like your internal hard drive running a quick diagnostic and accidentally pulling up a corrupted file. You don't want to jump. Your brain is just reminding you exactly how much you don't want to. Number 4, the sound that isn't there. You know that moment in a completely silent room when you start hearing a high-pitched ringing? It's not just a TV trope, it's a neurological glitch. This phenomenon is called tinnitus, and while it can be a symptom of hearing loss, for most people it's a completely normal and temporary brain function. Your brain's auditory system is always working, and when there's no external sound to process, it starts to get bored and looks for something to do. It's like a car engine idling. Even when you're not moving, the parts are still churning. Your brain, in the absence of noise, starts to generate its own. It's not a real sound, but an illusion created by your own nervous system. It's a sign that your ears are working so well they're picking up the background hum of your own biology. So, the next time you hear that high-pitched whine, just know it's not the sound of silence. It's the sound of your own brain getting bored and starting to make things up, just to keep itself busy. Number 5, when your brain fights itself. Have you ever tried to walk through a doorway and somehow your hand gets caught on the frame? Or you're carrying a box and you can't figure out which way to angle it to get it through the door? This isn't just clumsiness, it's a bizarre neurological phenomenon known as alien hand syndrome. Now, the full-blown syndrome is a serious condition, But most of us experience a milder, more common version of this glitch. It's when your brain's two hemispheres, the left side controlling the right and the right side controlling the left, get into a little turf war. The two sides of your brain are constantly communicating, but sometimes that connection gets momentarily jumbled. It's like two co-pilots in a plane arguing over which way to turn. Your brain has a plan, but your body isn't getting the full memo, so you end up in a slightly embarrassing tangle with the furniture. It's a low-stakes conflict between the logic part of your brain and the motor control part, and the furniture almost always wins. Number 6, the exploding head. You're drifting off to sleep feeling completely normal when suddenly you're jolted awake by a loud, earth-shattering bang. A shattering crash, or a flash of light. You sit up, your heart pounding, convinced something just fell on your roof or an explosion just happened outside. But as you listen, there's nothing. Everything is silent. This is exploding head syndrome, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a benign but terrifying sleep disorder where your brain, instead of calmly transitioning to sleep, decides to throw a mini party with fireworks and loud music. Scientists aren't totally sure why it happens, but the prevailing theory is that it's a glitch in the brain's off switch. As your brain starts to shut down the auditory and visual cortices for sleep, it fires off one last massive electrical discharge, like a sudden power surge before the lights go out. You're essentially experiencing a harmless but very loud neurological short circuit. It's a rude awakening, but it's not a sign of anything serious, just another one of your brain's charming little quirks. Number 7, your brain's secret autopilot. Ever driven somewhere and not remembered a single moment of the drive? You got from point A to point B safely, you stopped at red lights, you made the right turns, but your brain was completely checked out. This isn't a sign of early memory loss. It's a form of highway hypnosis. Your brain, being the incredibly efficient machine that it is, gets bored by routine tasks. When you're on a familiar road, it decides that the conscious part of your mind is no longer needed. It hands the wheel over to your unconscious mind, which can perform the task just fine, while your conscious brain wanders off to think about what you're having for dinner, or that weird comment your boss made last week. You're physically present and navigating the road, but your conscious awareness is somewhere else entirely. It's a testament to how good your brain is at multitasking. It can operate a 3,000-pound death machine while daydreaming about its grocery list. The fact that we don't all crash into a ditch is a small miracle and a big shout out to your brain's secret autopilot feature. Number 8, the misplaced face. You're out in public, maybe at a coffee shop or in a crowded mall, and you see someone who looks exactly like your friend. You feel a jolt of recognition and maybe even get ready to wave, only to realize, upon closer inspection, that it's a complete stranger. This is a super common cognitive glitch, and it's a side effect of your brain's pattern recognition software working overtime. Your brain is a master of facial recognition. It can spot a familiar face in a crowd in a fraction of a second, but sometimes it works a little too fast. When you're scanning a busy environment, your brain grabs key features, the shape of a nose, the style of a haircut, the way someone walks, and makes a quick judgment call. It's a cognitive shortcut. It's not that the person looks exactly like your friend. It's that your brain identified a few familiar traits and instantly filled in the rest, creating a convincing illusion. It's a glitch that reminds you just how quickly your brain forms conclusions, even when it's totally wrong. It's a quick, harmless example of how your brain can create a false reality and convince you it's real. Number 9, your body's built-in panic button. You're doing something perfectly normal, like lying in bed or watching a movie, when suddenly your heart rate spikes. You feel a wave of anxiety, your palms get sweaty, and you can't figure out why. This is a panic attack, but we're not talking about the kind brought on by a stressful situation. This is your nervous system's misfire, a spontaneous glitch that makes you feel like you're in mortal danger for no reason at all. It's your brain's amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for the fight-or-flight response, getting bored and deciding to run a stress test without telling the rest of your body. It dumps a massive dose of cortisol and adrenaline into your system, triggering all the physical symptoms of extreme fear, even though there's no bear in the room. It's your nervous system throwing a tantrum in your honor, and the worst part is you have no idea why. It's an involuntary alarm that goes off at the wrong time, leaving you in a state of high alert with no actual threat to fight or flee from. Number 10. The involuntary face. You know how sometimes you can't stop yourself from laughing at a funeral or smiling at a bad joke? This isn't a sign that you're a horrible person. It's a glitch in your brain's social wiring. It's called a nervous giggle or inappropriate affect. Our brains are hardwired to release tension, and for some people, the most effective way to do that in a high-stress or emotionally charged situation is through a physical reaction that is completely the opposite of the mood. Your brain, overwhelmed by the emotional load of the moment, attempts to relieve the pressure by generating a completely random and socially awkward response. It's like a pressure valve that opens up at the worst possible moment. Your brain is trying to handle too much at once, and instead of a calm, rational response, it outputs a small, uncontrollable burst of nervous energy. It's just your brain's clumsy way of saying, I have no idea how to process this information, so here's a laugh to make things even more confusing for everyone involved.